Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final of the Singapore Sevens. This one, once again, the Trans-Tasman rivalry, Australia versus New Zealand. These two sides doing battle many times in the past. They have been 1 and 2 pretty much all the way through the Sevens year. And in this case, New Zealand, they're on a 2-match winning streak over the Australians. But most of the time when they play, it is in a final, with the exception of 1 week where we did see the Fijians take on the Kiwis. But in terms of the starting lineups for New Zealand, it is Georgia Miller, Stacey Waka, Risi Pori-Lane, Mahina Paul, Sira Hirini, Michaela Brake, and Jasmine Felix Hotham. For the Australians, it is Maddie Levi, Faith Nathan, Soraya Parky, Duff, Tarita, Tegan Levi, and Tia Hines. We are just about ready to go. Australia are going to be kicking off this one from left to right. Chair Hamish said, Stars Rays, welcome in. If you are doing extremely well. The women's final, though, it won't be, I don't believe, the last time we see these two sides play. More than likely, they will play again next month in the champions set of the Sevens. New Zealand by 14, please, says Suds Rays. I just said here, the repeat of last week's final. New Zealand, they were able to get themselves the win there. New Zealand 2-match winning streak before then. Australia 1-3. Tia Hines to kick this one off to get us ready for the Singapore women's final. Just travelling the 10, and Maddie Levi goes up for it. So does Brake, and no one touches the ball. So New Zealand are going to have themselves the line out. Both sides going up for it, but no one finding the position. Kia ora, Hamish. Let's go New Zealand, says Matthew. And kia kaha, wahinima, says Blues Nate. Welcome in. Cup meetings in the final. New Zealand have won 18. Australia have won 9. Although in recent times, the Australians, of course, have increased their winning record quite substantially. Felix Hotham tackled about 38 metres out from the line. Mahina Paul goes across. Georgia Miller leaves that ball. Now decides to pick it up. She goes, ow! I think she got hit on the chin, or at least she's trying to claim she did. She got kicked in the face on the ground as well for her trouble. She gets back up as if it never happened, and she plays the breakdown. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Felix Hotham, ball on the inside to Michaela Brake. She'll pin her ears back, and they never quite catch her. She will score the first try of this women's final, and the Kiwis will strike early. Bullet from Fiji, Hamish says YouTube user. And of course, the Fijians, they will be in action just around the corner up against Kenya in what will be a sensational matchup. A 280 career tries for Michaela Brake. Just got around the tackle attempt to Tegan Levi. Then from there, it was the last-ditch effort from Tarita. It didn't quite get close enough either. Goose step, says Studs Race. Tosso Aussie, says Daniel. And yes, says Nov Mum. And let's New Zealand break too good, says Matthew. I Hamish, says Daniel. Welcome in. Now New Zealand, they will get themselves the 7-0 lead after the kick has gone over from Risi Pori-Lane, who is wearing 7 on her back. Michaela Brake has the most final tries of any player, 36, including 4 in 3 cup finals against Australia in 2025. So she loves scoring up against the Aussies. I also think she just loves the pressure of playing in a final, which is why she's got so many throughout those matches. Now Faith Nathan going to be running this ball off to the left-hand side. Passed off to Maddie Levi. Oh, and she has dropped the ball. A rare mistake from her. Stacey Waka gives her a tap on the back just to say, hey, you're not supposed to do that, but we'll take the scrum. And yes, there's Sky City. I mean, Maddie Levi, she has been breaking all sorts of records, scoring an insane amount of tries this year, and it was just in the process of the tackle, Waka, and ended up knocking that ball free. New Zealand have never lost a match in Singapore. They are 9-0. That is a very impressive stat. Never lost a match. That's a record that Australia will definitely try to break. Looking forward to break playing in our NRLW, says Thuds Rays. Now wrap it around there for New Zealand. Looking for a risky offload there, Mahina Paul. And it's another knock-on from Maddie Levi. 2 in a row. And it's going to be 2 in a row for New Zealand too, because Risi Pori-Lane runs down the wing and scores. But we're starting to see it here a little bit. And we've seen it in some games in the past. When Maddie Levi doesn't play well, Australia do struggle. And in this case, she had a perfect chance of being able to pick that up. That was an extremely risky offload from Mahina Paul, but it actually ended up being a better attacking chance than if she hadn't thrown it in, they had just used their back line. Now chance from the sideline. Risipori Lane gets it about half the distance, so that will be unconverted. 12 points to 0. She currently has the most series points. The fact that Maddie Levi is the next person behind her and she doesn't take the kicks tells you how insane her season has been. She's got 250 points by herself. 50 tries. That one has not travelled 10 for New Zealand. They just shepherd that one into touch and it will go back to the halfway line for Australia. And beautiful try to good Wahine. Are they going to run wild, says Matthew. And Manapori says a Blues Nate there as well. But now Australia have got the decision to make on the halfway line. It looks like they will opt for the tap here rather than taking the scrum. Faith Nathan running sideways, trying to find some sort of gap in this New Zealand defence. I think it was there Georgia Miller rushing up, which actually left a bit of a gap. Tia Hines has dropped that ball backwards. New Zealand now putting pressure in the breakdown, wanting to get the turnover, and they do win the penalty. Miller decides to take it quickly off to the short side to Sita Hirini. And now stepping again as Risipori Lane, tackled by Tegan Levi. Was there a clear release? I'm not sure, but the Australians have managed to get the turnover. Faith Nathan. Now hit hard by Georgia Miller, caught her high, which she'll be slightly annoyed about Miller because she was asking for a high shot earlier on in the half. Did not receive it. Now Australia, looked like they were just having a little bit of a debate there about what their decision was going to be, but they will kick it towards the touchline. The ball has gone into touch. Now line out opportunity here for the Aussies. And the thing is, they have to make sure that they don't let this one slip through their fingertips. They have to make the most of this chance, because if they don't, it's going to be a tricky one. Definitely with a 12-point lead to New Zealand, but Tegan Levi has got that ball to Rita. Going back across to the left-hand side. Soraya Parky off to Tia Hines. Maddie Levi now has the ball. Stacey Waka and Georgia Miller, they both bundle her into touch. That is quite the statement made by the Kiwis again. Stacey Waka, she decides to take it quickly. Now Australia caught scrambling. Felix Hotham tries to go through. But it's tackled well by Tarita. And Georgia Miller needs another yellow card, says Blues Nate. Although from the sounds of it in the post-match interview, if you get a yellow card, you lose 50% of your match purse that you would get. It's going to be a knock-on from Georgia there, though. In fact, it might have been Poldy Lane, so they will go back for the scrum in favour of the Australians. So with only a total of 40 seconds remaining in the first half. So if Aussie can strike now, they're still well and truly in this contest. Come on, the Black Ferns, says Puma boys. Yeah, just a little bit loose there from New Zealand in terms of the carrying. Now Australia, they have gone with Maddie Levi on this near side of the field. Scrum is on the far side. Ball's going to be fed in. Little bit of a mistake made there. Trying to keep the possession, but New Zealand get themselves another penalty in the breakdown. And this time it is Poldy Lane. So the one who did have the initial knock on has now won it back for her side. Now New Zealand, that is going to be the siren for halftime. They're only about 15 metres out from their line. I hope that they have learnt from the mistakes of the men's side and they will just boot this ball into touch. There is no point taking the risk. At the end of the day, you're already leading by 12. It is a final big push from Australia. New Zealand take the quick tap, and it looks like Poldy Lane is going to try and run this one. Stacey Walker looking for the gap. Siren has gone for halftime. New Zealand taking the risk. This is exactly what the men's side did wrong. And we're about to see whether it backfires. Ball onto the side of the Australians. Levi gets it across. It's going to be in the process of the tackle and knock on, so it won't be a yellow card, but the chance out wide for Australia. Faith Nathan, inside ball. Maddie Levi scores it, and right on cue, exactly what we said they shouldn't do, they did, and they concede the try late. It is what the men have done week in, week out. They did it in their last contest where they lost up against Great Britain. They did it up against the French the week prior in the semi-finals. They didn't learn from the males. Obviously, they've got the same attacking coach when it comes to the halftime siren. And also the full time, to be fair. They made that mistake a few times as well. I'm brave. Fergie time, scrum, you're on 22. Oops, so true, Hamish. Says Blues, no, says Boomer boys, and that kick's gone over. Giving Australia chance to get straight back into this game. 5 points difference now, and that's all the confidence that the Aussie women will need to really push forward into the second period of time. Just going to have a quick look at what it is sitting at the moment in terms of the odds. I'm very curious to know whether or not that last try slightly swayed it in favour of the Aussies. How do I do that? One moment. We'll click here. We'll click... where do we go? I'm not sure. I don't actually think they have betting during the women's match, in fact, so that might be why we can't see the odds. But yeah, I'm very curious to see whether or not that completely changed momentum. I was about to say how professional the Ferns are. Still believe, though. Are they playing 10-minute halves? They are not, no. 7-minute halves for this final, and currently 7 minutes in, we've already had 3 tries between them. Very close encounter, says YouTube user. In New Zealand, they were in the box seat. Australia, though, we've learnt Maddie Levi. I mean, 51 tries throughout the Seven Circuit. You would think that if she gets the ball within that 22, she will be able to score it just like last week on the stroke of halftime. Exactly right. And look at what happened in that game between New Zealand and France. Look at who won it in the end. That try made the difference, and perhaps it could be the difference for Australia here too. New Zealand have yet to master squeaky bum time, says Gus. Of course, the final of the men's is just around the corner. Fiji versus Kenya. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. I believe it will be a high-scoring affair between the sides. Now the second 7 minutes of this one. Chance here for New Zealand to kick the ball off. It's going to be Risi Pauri-Lane. Kicks it up and nicely taken by Maddie Levi. Tackled by Georgia Miller. Look for the turnover. The ball is on the side. Oh, Tia Hines getting played. And that is going to be another penalty going the way of the Australians. Taking it quickly was Faith Nathan. She spends the game with, unfortunately, a full-time wedgie because she's always the one getting lifted in the air. And because Sevens is so fast-paced, never gets a chance to lose it. Oh, that's going to be dropped by Australia. Knocked on. Felix Hotham striding forward. Just needs the bounce of the ball, well controlled. And she does score the try. Gets crushed by Soraya Parky in the process of scoring it. But Hotham does get her second of Singapore. Let's go New Zealand. And let's go Georgia. Let's go, says Blues Nate. And come on the Black Ferns, says Matthew there as well. No, Hotham, sneaky speed. Yeah, she's got a really... I'd almost say she's got like a sprinter's kind of stride in terms of, you know, she's very much the arms, big steps forward. And well done, Jasmine, says Blues Nate. Does end up scoring the try. Now a chance to convert. New Zealand do miss, so the lead of 10 points at the moment, 7 points to 17. Georgia Miller is a freak for her age, says Matthew. And well done, Jasmine, says Blues Nate there as well. Looks like there is about to be a change made by New Zealand. Time is back on. Still 6 minutes remaining in this final. Kiwis back to where they would have liked to be. That one hasn't travelled the 10 metres, so they will go back for the tap or scrum on the halfway line. And cheer, bro, cheer, cheer. Sears Razor, welcome in, mate. A nice try, Jasmine, keeps scoring. Oh, is this another change about to be made? No, it looks like they are going to be continuing. Though it is Australia, in fact, who have decided to make the change. It is going to be the youngster Davis. Let's get another chance. She has been quite the X-Factor player as Fern's got to kick off right. Yeah, maybe one, but honestly, it might not even be the one. We've seen them kick it short. We've seen them miss the jumper. Big shot coming in on Bridget Clark, who just recently made her way on. Georgia Miller going for the turnover and the breakdown. Looks at the referee for guidance. But now nice run forward from Soraya Parky. Well protected from the Australians as Teresa Setafano tried to get the steal. Tia Hines goes back across to Maddie Levi, trying to shove off Waka. Get rid of Miller as well. Over the ball though, Sirahirani, and she does win the penalty. Australian too dependent on Maddie Levi at the moment. New Zealand more of a team unit, says Razor. And like I mentioned in that first half, Maddie had 2 mistakes and New Zealand scored off both of them. Like when Maddie Levi doesn't get the ball or can't get the ball consistently, she does struggle alongside the Australians. And that is actually how New Zealand beat them I think it was only a couple weeks ago. They just pretty much didn't give Levi the ball. In fact, it might have been a bit earlier than that. In fact, one of the first legs of the Seven Circuit. Now, New Zealand will have themselves the quick tap here. New Zealand winning as usual, says Krish. And beautiful play from Sarah, says Matthew. Yeah, just waited patiently for that opportunity to get in the breakdown rather than rushing in. She saw that she was eventually going to get taken down and then just locked herself over the ball. But New Zealand now shifting away to the left-hand side. Nice run from Felix Hotham. Gets the offload away on the outside. And this will be another try for New Zealand. It is Kelsey Tanetti who does score it between the posts as well. So that will be a nice, easy kick. And New Zealand now well and truly ahead in this contest. And Hirani still doing the work. Says Studs Razor, New Zealand on fire. Says Novmum. That's Stefano to go with that pass on the outside. And then from there, New Zealand just managing to lure in a defender. Got the offload away. Stacey Waka on the sidelines alongside the Black Ferns bench. Well and truly celebrating that one. And Kelsey, let's go girl, says Matthew there. Yeah, high scoring final here between New Zealand and Australia. I have a feeling that maybe that Kenya versus Fiji match is going to be a bit the same. Bro, this is farming at this point, says Krish. Going off to the right-hand side, nicely taken by Maddie Levi, but she's under pressure inside of the 22. In fact, that wasn't Maddie, that was instead Clark, and it looks like New Zealand have managed to get this steal in the breakdown. Yes, it's going to be the scrum feed, as Australia could not exit their own ruck. And now again, Black Ferns, they have got the attacking chance. 3 minutes remaining. And give them a good hiding, says Puma Boys. And of course, next week, or not next week, sorry, next month, we are going to have the champion side of the draw. New Zealand have managed to win it for the overall points standings, but to be able to do the double would be extremely impressive from them. Ball's going to bounce out the back. Poultry Lane going to the left-hand side again. Felix Hotham cutting through. Can't quite get to the try line. Really well defended by Faith Nathan. Loose bill or ball hidden. He picks it up, gives it off to Fitzpatrick, or should I say Stefano. Now ball on the outside. Tanetti. Oh, she's at the ball. Stolen off her by Maddie Levi. Puts in the fend on Hirani, but loses her footing. Also hurts her back in the process. Australia will get the penalty, but that looked like a brutal one for Maddie Levi. She is slow to get back to her feet. That would have actually been an incredible try. Probably would have made it as an Instagram reel on the World Sevens Circuit website if we had seen the try being scored. She would have had to go the full length of the field, though. It would have also meant she didn't get the knees in the back. And now New Zealand, once again, finding themselves defending. Georgia Miller told to release. Does get out of that breakdown. Australia going back to the left-hand side. Into the middle to Bridget Clark, almost through Hirani, but she has been tackling phenomenally. She's slow getting back to her feet. In fact, she's looking, I think, even more fatigued than you would expect. Hopefully hasn't taken a head knock along the way, but she is absolutely exhausted at the moment. And which is completely understandable with the pace that this game is being played at, but managed to stop her from scoring the try, and then Tanetti let it go. And Maddie Levi popped up with the ball and saw back for Maddie, and that was magic from Levi, says Studs Ray. And Maddie Levi has scored 50-plus tries in 3 straight seasons. The first player to achieve this is what they have got there. And head knock rocked her, says Blues Nate, and New Zealand woman team 2. OP, says Krish. It looks like she's going to be continuing here, Maddie Levi. Australia feeding the ball in. They've only got 80 seconds to play with, so I don't believe they'll have any chance of being able to win this game, but they're trying to make a little bit more of a competitive total. Get them back within the 15 points. Fending, going sideways, looking for the offload. Risky one. Michaela Brake picks it up for New Zealand. Now, Stefano in the breakdown. Oh, that's a massive driving shot in the ruck. Poultry Lane not happy about it. She tried to push her after getting flattened. Now looking for the offload. Goes off to Georgia Miller. All grabbed by the jersey and scragged down by Faith Nathan. It's getting a little bit scrappy out there on the field at the moment. What a fend that is. Puts it off. All awkward landing Well, we're going to be lucky to avoid a punch up here between these two sides for the last 30 seconds. There's a lot of off-the-ball stuff starting to creep in, but Michaela Brake on the ball scores the try again. And odds up, everyone, says Xander. And Michaela gets her 34th of the season, her 8th of Singapore, and her second of the match as well for the Kiwis. Only 10 seconds remaining on the clock. And it does look like they're going to let Michaela Brake take the kick at the post, or at least it's shaped up that way. I assume that she is going to have that last chance. They don't call Tegan Levi Pitbull for nothing, says Razor there. And Michaela Brake, she does get the kick over, making the score now in favour of New Zealand. 33 points to 7. Tell you what, that kick only just went over too, clearing it by maybe about half a metre. Fave Nathan, she's mad easy now, cuzzy, says Blues Nate. And also we have got their Ferns next level, and well done, ladies. Here, massive win, 31 points to 7 for New Zealand. And now we get to see the men's match taking place in only around 20 minutes' time. It will be the contest, in fact, closer to 15 minutes' time, happening between Fiji and Kenya. Massive underdog story. Could be around the corner, or maybe the Fijians start the season like they ended the last and get themselves another win. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in about 10 minutes' time for the next stream between the two men's sides.